Hi there. So I've been a little bit sick the last couple of days. I was really supposed to start getting back into a full-time job of sorts. But I have been having fever and all of that kind of stuff. So instead, I decided to build a house. Now I did do it in creative and bring it over here from Litematica. I know some people frown upon that, but I don't see what the point is. If I'm going to stare at a picture, I'm going to do it exactly the same way as I would do it. Only I have a template at my disposal this way, and I think that that saves us all a lot of time, especially on a massive build like this. Anyway, I got the first floor done already. And let's see, I can show what it'll look like in the end. I originally intended just to go in there into a creative test world and just come up with an idea, something that I could work with in my world. But instead, I just got sucked into placing blocks and seeing how it looked and if I wanted to look at that in my world. And it took a few hours just to come up with this even in creative. There's no way I was going to just stare at it and go from one world to another when there's a nice tool that people have spent a lot of time creating for people like me who don't have all the time in the world, especially when they're sick. So this is what it's going to look like in the end. I haven't done the interiors yet. I just wanted to get the basics of every room figured out. How to get upstairs. Got ladders going up to the attic. I've got 3 floors, so I can, if I wanted to, move my storage over here too. Anyway, this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Ooh, my voice is already going a little bit. And while I was relearning Litematica, I also decided to check out a replay mod, but when I was looking for things, I actually heard Smallish Beans talk about something called the Flashback mod and how they were nice enough to help him out with the problem he was having. And I went and I looked at it and I actually really enjoy it. So I'm going to show some clips of me building it from another perspective. Basically just so I can show it off and practice with it, but also so I can show off my hard work here on this house that I'm building. Anyway, hopefully it'll be enjoyable to see the little clips. Especially me getting surprised by a creeper that I was looking directly at but didn't see. I did try to fly away when I did see him, but it was way too late. Anyway, you'll see it when it comes up. Enjoy. Well, that was my very well edited, truncated building session from earlier today. And this is how I got to this point. Now I went ahead and moved my bed in here. Might as well. I've got a roof. I've got all of the doors. And I importantly have the gates because I am on hard mode, which means that zombies can break my doors down if I'm not careful. So everything should be perfectly safe. I put in all of the lights, made sure everything was up to par for keeping out the mobs. For the most part, anyway. And so far, I haven't had any problems. Now I just need to decorate the insides, make it look more like an actual lived-in place instead of, you know, a rental unit of some sort. And I get to overlook my village at the farmer's market, bamboo farm, the farmers working hard in their fields. And of course, I gave a house to my pets. I did go ahead and call a lot of my herd, so I'm not having nearly as much trouble with my frame rates today since I brought it down to just the bare essentials. But while I was doing all of that, another skeleton trap horse spawned in the ocean. I was fighting a trident when it happened. Of course, I've got, you know, perfect gear, so I don't die a whole lot. When I do, it's usually to something really stupid. That's why I carry around totems of undying. They aren't to keep me from, you know, losing my world as they would be in hardcore. These are just to make it so that I don't die to something dumb like, you know, where you are flying and you accidentally catch on a vine. If you do that, then it disables your wings and you can fall to your death. So I have a totem on just to prevent those kind of dumb deaths. Time-wasting deaths, I call those. Eventually I will terraform this whole area and it'll lead up to that mountain and look prettier, I think, in the end. It's just going to take some work. But for now, that's all I have. I just spent a day building. I didn't do anything else. I was thinking about starting a hardcore series that would be based around villagers next time. I don't usually do villagers in hardcore. They're such a pain in the butt. But now that they can be pulled in boats with leads and you can fly with them so much easier, I may not have nearly as much of a belly aching over it as I usually do. We'll see. Anyway, hope everyone has a good day. I'll continue building this and I'll get the second and third floor done eventually. Good night, everyone.